Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Daily D. And today's topic is story of origin. Now, this is a unique concept because if you truly understand it, what it does is it helps you connect with people. So, think about the story of origin as somewhere that you originated from. You see, many people go through life and hit levels of success, and that could just be from getting a degree, graduating high school, getting a college degree, a master's degree, a bachelor's degree, going to a job, being promoted, being a leader, running a group, being a pastor, doing a church, being a leader in that church. Like there's positions, if you will, of stature that you'll receive over the course of your life if that's something you pursue. Many people don't always pursue those things, but if you do, which I know if you're watching this you probably do, you're going to achieve levels of success by definition of others. And once you receive those levels of success, one of the things that I reference back to many times, and you'll hear me in many of my videos, is the past. Now, I don't use the past as a place to live. I use the past as a way to connect. And that's my origin. That's where I come from. See, if I just walked into a room and I just told you guys, I have all these businesses, I run all these companies, I have this much opportunity, I've got this much money. Really, what that does is it shares somewhat of an arrogant statement. It makes me seem pretty unconnectable because you and I, honestly, we don't always connect because maybe you feel like I'm in a different place than you and you're in a different place than me, right? Some people see themselves in a position of power and some see themselves in a position of need. And when I look at how many times I've had the opportunity to speak in front of people or to get in front of a new group of employees or staff or team, or if I've had the opportunity to speak anywhere, what I want to do initially is connect with that group or audience. And the reason I want to do that is because the more that they feel like we're alike, or that they could be or have or do some of the things that I've already done, the more likely we're going to do business together, the more likely they're going to follow me, the more likely that we're going to do great things. So an origin is where you come from. And I think a lot of people forget about their origin because they think of it as a negative. Like, I think of if you ever had a traumatic childhood or you had a horrible relationship or you went through some challenging times, you really, if most people, not you really, but most people don't reference those times. And the reason they don't reference it is because they believe it's embarrassing. They believe they should only share the good, not the bad. They believe that it makes them less than when they share those types of stories. And the honest truth is, it actually doesn't. It actually makes you more human. It connects you. So think about any good movie, any good comic, any good story in a book. They all begin with a reason why somebody does what they do today. And that's called your origin story. So think about, for an example, Spider-Man. I'm not a big comic person, but I know that story very well. And Spider-Man fights crime. Why does he fight crime? And if you look back at the story, the reason he fights crime is because there was an opportunity for him to prevent a crime from occurring. And because he decided not to make or take action, somebody in his family was killed. And that person could have not killed his family member, or that opportunity wouldn't have happened if he would have just stepped up and prevented the crime in the first place. So, because he didn't step up, he lost a family member. Because he lost a family member, he feels obligated now to continue, or not to continue, to now fight crime and protect the people in his local community because he's been blessed with that gift. You see, that's his origin. Now, I said it in just a few statements, but what's your origin? You see, I believe I came from an origin of not poverty, not of malnourishment or abuse, but of really a sense of not becoming. I believe most of my life, many people didn't believe I was going to become anything. I believe my parents raised me in a good environment, told me I could do everything I ever wanted in the world, but didn't really believe that. I believe I was put on this earth and I looked different, I act differently, and I didn't fit in. I was very unique as a child. as you can tell. I was made fun of, I was bullied, I was teased. I was told that because of what I looked like and because of the conditions that I had, that I wasn't going to be able to do much with my life, like play sports or be active outside outdoors or get a job. I mean, honestly, this is things that they were telling me as a child. I was told these things. And even if they didn't say them out loud, I could feel them. You know how you can feel things? I was told that I was going to be disabled. I rode the little bus. I was taken care of. People made sure I was always okay, right? Because they thought less of me. And because of all of that belief system in me, or lack of belief system in me, I held all this inside anger to the world, saying, why can't I do things that were great? And I didn't believe it was for me. I didn't believe it was for me for many years. I mean, it really took 17, 18 years for me to really realize that I could do things, that I could be someone, that I could get out of my own home. I didn't have to depend on others. You see, my belief statements today is I believe everyone should own their economy. They should build their own economy. Well, the reason I believe that is because for most of my life, I was told that I was going to have to live in someone else's, that the world was going to have to take care of me, that I was going to have to be a dependent in this world and not independent. And every moment from the moment that I realized that I didn't have to be that way, I have worked seriously hard to become the best version of me so that I can protect the things that I love, so I don't have to depend on anyone else again, and more importantly, so that the world outside could never harm me. See, that's my origin. What's yours? I ask you this, and mine was very simple, and I could probably go into so many depths and stories, but let me ask you this. How did you get to where you're at today? And by nature, just to be clear, I don't care, or I'm not going to say I don't care, I'm going to say that don't tell yourself that where you're at is nowhere. It is somewhere. You've achieved something. You're doing greater things than you ever thought you could. Why are you doing them now? What traumatic experience, what pain points, what things, and it doesn't have to be abuse, but it could be if that's the truth. It doesn't have to be poverty, but it could be if that's the truth. You have to find it. You know, somebody told me once, well, David, I had a really great childhood and I was spoiled and I was given everything I ever wanted and I was really taken care of. I don't have an origin story. Like, how do I back that up? And I would say, well, that is a story. I was told I could be anything I wanted. I was given everything. I was spoiled. I was taken care of. I didn't have to worry about money. I didn't have to worry about anything. But I knew deep down inside that that wasn't for me, that I needed to be me. That's a story, you see. All right, guys. I hope this helps you because I'm going to give you some more topics throughout the week that's going to help to define this better. But understand that sharing your story, just like I shared mine just a few minutes ago, or I gave you an example right now, or I showed you about Peter Parker, right? From sharing these stories really is what connects you with people. And because of that connection, now we can do business, now we can be friends, now we can go far, now we can do great things. You see, that is what happens when you have a great origin story. And by the way, we all have great origin stories. This is what happens when you understand how to clearly articulate it. All right, I wish you nothing but health, wealth, success, but most importantly, freedom. Have a great day, guys.